We just had one of the most confusing trips around Disneyland that we have had in recent memory. Look at Indy, or Rise. Is this real or not real? I'm still not sure as I record this. We're going through the entire park, every land, every attraction. We're gonna look at the crowds and the queues and the views. This is our State of Disneyland report. And what you see before you, fresh baked, is a Sunday at Disneyland. This is a Sunday afternoon at about 12:19. Looks about the same, doesn't it? I often say it doesn't really make any difference, at least out here on Town Square. You'll notice it's about the same as any other day, a Saturday or a Sunday or a Monday. But we're here on a Sunday because our schedule got interrupted by Pixar Fest, which was a lot of fun. I hope you guys were able to check out that video. So that pushed things off till today, so we get to enjoy our State of Disneyland report here on a Sunday afternoon. As I mentioned, it's about 12:19. And even more interesting is that we get to take part in this today. I've already done my construction recon, so I haven't been to the park yet. It's all gonna be a big mystery today as we make our way through the crowds. I will say, I walked down Main Street a little bit to pick up some B-roll, etc., and looks kind of light, actually. You know what? Let me show you. Let's go do a vibe check on Main Street, and you'll see that it's not exactly a big deal right now. Let's see what's up at Disneyland. Main Street. I mean, look at this, though. I will say, I find this often at Town Square. Even on a busy day, you will find this often, big empty spaces like this. But it certainly isn't oppressive, am I right? I do think that we are going to still find a busy day because Pixar Fest is bringing in crowds. It's going to bring in a lot of locals, assuming they can get into the park, which we'll get into obviously in a little bit after we take this walk down Main Street. But reservations are going to be a topic of conversation, and I've actually got a theory that I want to talk to you about a little bit when we do when we look at the calendar. Something that kind of scares me a little bit. But here we go. Main Street, Disneyland. Still getting used to the Pixar Fest colors on Main Street. I like them, just not right here. You know what I mean? Just not in this space, but pretty much everywhere else. But Town Square and Main Street, just not my favorite thing. Do you guys hear that though? Do you hear the buzz? Hey, all right. It feels empty-ish, right? You know what? I mean, obviously there's a lot of people here, but it's not super oppressive. And you don't feel the intensity of a crowd like you would on a busy day. Feels kind of nice, kind of casual, kind of nice. I'm really curious. I haven't looked at any of the tip boards or the wait times or anything to see how the park is doing today. I'm really curious to see how this looks. But before we do that, I do want to get into that reservation calendar. I do want to show you guys a few things and have a brief conversation about some concerns I have, something that we'll probably get into in another video on Fresh Baked Presents. But let's take a look at that reservation calendar, starting with, as usual, the single day ticket calendar, or the multi-day ticket calendar, if you will. There's just a couple days left in this month. We're on the 28th as I record this. That's sold out, which is to be expected for a day like today. Although, once again, I have to wonder, do they not want more people than this in the park? We'll see. But just looking at that 28th date not being available tells me that that's all the people they want in the park. But the 29th and the 30th are available, as are obviously the rest of May for single day and multi-day tickets. Pretty standard, although there is a sold out date for Disneyland Start on the 8th. That's more anomaly than anything else. Looking at the Inspire key, both today and tomorrow are unavailable. Those are booked out also, but then Wednesday is available. Moving into May, we see a calendar that looks a lot like the calendars that we have seen in the past. Sounds like the Disneyland band has arrived, so we're gonna try to see if we can't outperform them while this happens. It looks a lot like the calendar has in the past, or at least more so than it does recently. We didn't have this kind of difficulty getting reservations for Magic Keys in the past few months, but now it's looking like it did back in the day when they were limiting attendance. From my understanding, that's not been a problem of late, that we've been at full capacity. But a lot of Saturdays, all the Sundays, some of the Fridays are booked out for May. And that's kind of concerning when you consider, if you look at the Enchant Key, that many of the days for Enchant Key are blocked out. So we're not even getting competition from Enchant Key and Imagine. This is purely too many Inspire keys, too many Magic Key holders in general trying to get those reservations. What that suggests to me is, well, it goes back, I mentioned this in our guide to June. Recently, we've observed that Disney has been selling Magic Keys again. There's been no let up in that at all. You can still buy a Magic Key today. There's a man right here standing next to me. Right there. You can buy a Magic Key today. It doesn't look like they're going to stop anytime soon. But I have to wonder if, I did wonder how they were able to do that. How was Disney able to just suddenly decide to start selling Magic Keys and not have the park overrun by guests? And then I realized the simple solution is that they didn't increase the number of reservations being made available. There's just more competition. The same amount of people are in the park. That's the reservation system limiting the number of people in the park, limiting the number of Magic Keys in the park while still selling them. So even though you can get one, they've made it very difficult, again, to actually get in the park. I don't have any, this is just theory, it's just observations, but it's not something that I'm crazy about observing, and it's something that we'll be paying attention to. This has been going on now for, this is now our third or fourth State of Disney report where we talk about the reservation calendar being in the state that it is. I thought it was an anomaly before, but it looks like it's more of a permanent condition than a temporary one.
Hey, let's go! Let's go.
Steven, you're my retirement dream.
Yes, this is the best. My friend, this is the best. And away we go! I had to promise my mom that I was retiring by 72. Still haven't gotten it in writing though, it's not gonna happen. So what's your favorite popcorn bucket so far?
I like the truck.
Yes.
Yeah. The Java was cool, but I think the truck is my favorite so far.
Kathy, couldn't do this without you. Thank you so very much. And I just kind of look at them and go, I think they're great, but which one am I going to put a plant in?
Is that what you do with yours? You put plants in them? That's probably the best idea I've heard so far, because there isn't actually any good reasons, or good ways to use them. Certainly not for popcorn.
I do with my old shoes, especially Doc Martens that you can't resole. Put a couple of holes in them and hang
just
them
like
up
Wally.
on the wall. Absolutely.
Where's that?
We're the parade, by the way. Hi.
It's a one-man show.
One-man show. Dance while everybody's looking. So, why did the students get their papers back? Why did the students get their papers from the exam back when?
I don't know. I don't know jokes.
Because they were below sea level. One of my students texted me that the other day.
Wow, Steve.
Yeah. There we go, 1 horsepower. Beautiful weather. Oh,
I love it.
as promised, final destination is right in front of the castle. It's my pleasure having you guys on board.
Thanks, Steven.
Glad you guys are here today. Weather's perfect. Crowds are great.
You're
a wonderful
great.
day, my friend.
Good luck. Steven there is one of the best ambassadors of the Disneyland spirit that they have here at the resort. I love that man. I love riding on the park truck. I apologize for interrupting the normal progress, the normal flow of this State of Disneyland report, but I ran into Steven back there at Town Square and he said he was bringing the truck out, and I'm like, God, you know, I gotta get first dibs on that, on riding shotgun. So there you go, a little trip down Main Street. And now we'll begin our show in earnest, starting with Adventureland. As we make our way into Adventureland, it is 1:29 in the afternoon on this Sunday. It really is a gorgeous day, by the way. Look at that sky right there, just perfectly blue and pristine. It's the kind of day you hope to get when you come to Disneyland. Highs today will be in the low 70s. No wind, no clouds. Crowds so far seem to be fairly moderate. It's kind of perfect. Although I did just now have a little bit of difficulty making my way closer to Jungle Cruise to check in on this legendary attraction. I actually am unable to get closer to it at the moment. Current wait time is 30 minutes. Finally, we've arrived. 30 minutes. Hi. That's actually pretty long for Jungle Cruise. You've got guests on the top level in the front part and in the rear part. They're using both sections, which is uncommon. That's not a good sign. Yeah, it looks like they're using most of it down here too. Wow. That is one of the denser queues I've seen on Jungle Cruise in a long while. Although as queues go, obviously, you can see it's a pretty brisk queue. You just keep moving in most cases, in spite of the fact that they have to load and unload guests. And there's sort of a wait in between, the little intermission, but it's constantly flowing. The boats are constantly coming in and out, and there's no competition from Lightning Lane, obviously. Bye. And did she fishtail that thing? Meanwhile, Indiana Jones right next door. This queue looks packed up. 35 minutes for Indiana Jones. That requires investigation. Could it be true? Because that wasn't that long ago. I was looking at the tip board earlier today, and it was showing a 70-minute wait. And normally, Indiana Jones is not the kind of attraction that is... Hey, all right. It's generally not an elastic attraction, and by that I mean the wait times, there aren't wide ranges in the wait times. It goes up to 70 and it just kind of stays there. It stays there for a while. It's inelastic. But looking at this queue right now, that's kind of shocking for, what did I say it was? 1:34 right now in the afternoon on a Sunday? This might be one of the more perplexing things that I've seen in recent memory. Matter of fact, I just heard a guest walk by. I think they experienced that longer wait that I was just talking to, because they said, oh my God, where'd everybody go? Are you kidding me? As if to say, We waited in that whole thing and now it looks like this. That's wild. Inexplicable almost. Yeah, there's more. She was just pointing at the kid like, what happened? What's going on? And I know it's not a closure. It didn't come down after a closure. It's been open since I've arrived today. That's anomalous. Certainly not a situation that I will expect to remain the case. That is as I'm fond of saying, a call to action for all the guests in the park today. Time to go to Indiana Jones. You see a 35-minute wait at Indy. You better be close. Better be in the neighborhood. But right next door, Pirates of the Caribbean. Is it even? Yeah, it's open. I was concerned about that. When is the last time especially since they've installed Lightning Lane, when's the last time you've seen this? I don't want to guess what the wait time is right now, but let's take a quick peek at the queue. Not a lot of activity here in Lightning Lane. A smattering of guests in Lightning Lane. So that means the standby is probably going to be moving pretty briskly. Man, I don't even have to look at the waypoint right now. This is a go. Get in this queue right now. Get in that Indiana Jones queue right now. Get in that Pirates queue right now. If you're lucky, you can do both. Do Indy first, though. Do Indy first. Because Pirates is going to be manageable, more likely to be manageable at a later date, later time. Posted at 15 minutes. I mean, that's about what I would have expected. I just cannot believe on a Sunday afternoon, Pixar Fest is in town, and that's the back of the queue right there. That's kind of shocking. And then look what is even happening right now? What is even happening? I mean, I guess I kind of thought this might be the case when I started this show, but I didn't really want to believe it. As a paying guest, I cannot walk up and buy a ticket. I mean, it's becoming an age-old question these days as we analyze crowd patterns and stuff like that here at Disneyland. I don't understand the thought process. What is it? What is the goal? What are they trying to achieve? Because it's not like, I don't know, man. It's not like there's something else happening later today or anything like that. The crowds aren't delayed. Hi. They're just, the weather, it's perfect. The weather's perfect. The rain didn't chase anybody away. Why is the park sold out today? Why can I not buy a ticket? Why can I not get a reservation as a Magic Key holder? But so far, this is what we've seen in the parks. It's early yet. This has happened 100 times. The narrative changes as we go throughout the park, but so far, man, this is wild. And that actually reminds me, just talking about traffic patterns here in New Orleans Square and in Adventureland too. Today, as we record this, it's April 28th. In 3 days, we got 3 days left of Critter Country. Critter Country is going to close in 3 days. It'll be on May 1st, and so not only will you not have Haunted Mansion or Splash Mountain, but then all the rest too. Winnie the Pooh and Pooh Corner and all that stuff back there. It makes me wonder, it makes me think, is this going to get even worse? And maybe that has something to do with it. Maybe it has something to do with the crowds, etc. It's people just are choosing not to. I mean, maybe to a small degree at least, maybe a percentage are certainly waiting until at least some of this is done. And I think that goes towards the conversation that we've had in previous videos about maybe it's going to, it's inspiring, motivating Disney to get on with it, to finish this thing as quickly as possible, because you know, how long can they keep this up? How long can you have this whole entire stretch of park basically barren, like nothing happening back here? Would you come and pay full price for that? I don't know. But yeah, by the time we shoot our next State of Disney report, heck, by the time we shoot our next construction report, I will not be able to take this walk back to Critter Country so they can redo or update the Briar Patch and then update Pooh Corner up ahead. Well, not Pooh Corner specifically, but they're gonna split that and make it 2 shops. Although, I mean, really it's kind of 3 shops as it is now. You got Pooh Corner with the treats on the right. You got the plushes in the middle, and then the Winnie the Pooh type stuff, the merchandise, the clothing, etc. on the left. The Critter Club. So you're gonna have Pooh Corner and then the Critter Club as opposed to just one Pooh Corner. And then obviously, Briar Patch is gonna become Ray's Berets. I will say that I sure do hope it doesn't take long for them to do whatever it is that they gotta do here in Critter Country. The calendar right now, as reported in our construction update, doesn't reflect a reopening date as of yet, so it's going into at least June, or early June at least. That the calendar right now is going as far as the 8th, or as I record this. So it's going to be probably a month and a half or so, and I'm hoping that's about all it takes because Critter Country is delightful. I really love it here. It's one of the more underrated places to be in Disneyland, and part of that is due to the fact that it's back here, you know, in kind of a dead end, where people just kind of go by it on their way to Galaxy's Edge, let's say. So they got kind of radiator springed here a little bit with sending all that traffic to Galaxy's Edge that used to pass in front of it. But I do love Critter Country, and I hope they do it all justice. That is just what the doctor ordered.
Are you guys ready for some fun? You ready for an adventure? Well, when you get off this ride, you're going to love Adventureland. We don't have Adventureland here. What we do here is paddle. Paddles up, everyone. Paddles up. Have the blades over the water. Get nice. Get it right the outside hand right above that base. Inside hand, we wrap it around that big tail. The other side is going to look like this. After 3, you're going to dig that paddle in front of you, pull it behind your body. After 3, friends. 1, 2, 3, stroke. Alright.
It's literally the best. Let's go to Galaxy's Edge. Just as I expected. An empty queue out here at Rise of the Resistance. I can see that it is still open. But Section 4 is dead, so is Section 3. Maybe even Section 2? I can see, you cannot. Let me show you. There's Section 3, empty. And there's Section 2, empty. And there's Section 1, also mostly empty. The back of the queue, when these guys stop moving, is going to be just shy of the caves, which is kind of remarkable, almost unbelievable, to the point where I have to figure that perhaps there was a ride closure. My goodness. But having said that, it's consistent with what we've seen so far, and yet that's saying 65 minutes right there on the wakeboard. I don't buy it because there is just a few guests in the Lightning Lane as well. I see a couple guests going in there right now, these few right here, but otherwise this queue is empty. That's one of the optimal scenarios that you might ever come across here at Rise of the Resistance, is where the posted wait time is not reflective of the actual experience. In this case, where I don't know if they're coming off or expecting the crowds to grow. Hey, all right. Like, why does it say 65? I don't know, because it's not. And it's not like they're doing this on purpose. That's something that I've gotten into before. I don't believe that's an intentional thing. I think they think it's 65, or they did not long ago, or they think it will be soon. But in either case, that's what you're looking for when you come by. Here's a 65-minute posted wait time, which is on the higher end now for Rise, by the way. That's maybe in the 65th percentile, I'm gonna just assume or guess. But then seeing an empty queue where it's back there in Section 1. Section 1. You guys, that's like rope drop material. That's opening day. That's coming out. That's right after a ride closure. But again, I don't recall having seen this as being down when I was looking at the tip board earlier. So we'll see what happens when we get to it. You know what? Actually, we're in Galaxy's Edge. This could be a perfect opportunity to get a Tatooine sunset and look at the tip board and then go check out what's happening at Millennium Falcon Smuggler's Run. Cheers for a spike. My compliments. All right, this should be interesting. Alice in Wonderland, 20 minutes already. That is light. Normally you see Alice around 30 or 40. Astro Orbiter 35, that's kind of impressive. Autopia, 15. By the way, as I record this, it is 2:08. 15 minutes for Autopia with a return time in an hour. Big Thunder's 45, a return time hour and a half. That's pretty standard, pretty normal. Buzz Lightyear, 45 minutes and a return time in 1 hour. Also pretty standard, pretty normal. Casey Jr.'s 15. I think they're still running the one train there at Casey. Davy Crockett Canoes is 30 minutes. I'm sorry, what? What? Of all days, today's the day? Because it's kind of toasty out. And there are other things you could do. Dumbo is 20. That's light, normally about 30 minutes. Nemo, light again at 30 minutes. I'll bet you it's not even that. Hyperspace Mountain, it is still Season of the Force, so we're on Hyperspace Mountain. That's understandable, 65 minutes, return time in 3 hours. I actually would not have been surprised to see that higher. 65 is about what you normally get for a normal Space Mountain. Indiana Jones is no longer 35 minutes as predicted. That is now at 50, and that could go up again. Return time is in 4 hours for Lightning Lane. Small World is 10 minutes. I would like to put that to the test. Return time of now. You can just walk on. You can book it and go right now for Small World. Jungle Cruise is still at 30. Carousel 5, Mad Tea Party 5. Winnie the Pooh, 15, pretty standard. Matterhorn is only 45, with a return time in 2.5 hours. Matterhorn has been doing some really good business of the last year or two, and so I'm kind of shocked to see that at just 45. Runaway Railway, though, is at 55. Return time in 3 hours. People are using their Genie Plus for Runaway Railway, for sure. Smuggler's Run at 35, return time of now. That's kind of surprising. It's Season of the Force, everybody. Why is there nobody in the Rise of the Resistance queue and very few people riding Smuggler's Run, and it's Season of the Force? I'm dumbfounded, actually. I'm kind of sitting here trying to contemplate that, trying to come up with some sort of theory, and I just cannot. Toads is 15, Peter Pan 35 standard, Pinocchio 15 standard. Pirates is at 30. We saw it at 15 when we walked by. You tell me that queue is doubled? I don't think so. Roger Rabbit, just 45 minutes. 45 minutes and a return time in just an hour. Interesting. Snow White 15, Star Tours 35. How does Star Tours have a longer wait than Smuggler's Run? Well, I know people are going to tell me why that is, but it shouldn't. So Star Tours 35, return time of now, and there's Rise. Rise is now down to 40. So they have adjusted that 65 down to 40. That is now a call to action. If we were to walk back there after this tip board, stand by for a few minutes, we'll see that back of that queue in section 3. And I'm pretty confident of me saying that because we've had this exact same conversation, I want to say maybe 2 months ago, doing a State of Disneyland report, and I had the same observation. And I did the same thing. I went back there and looked at it, and that's exactly what happened. We'll see. Storybook Land, 10 minutes. And take care. Fascinating tip board. So much so, especially as it relates to Galaxy's Edge, that I want to stop in here real quick and take a peek inside Doc Ondar's. I sometimes like to get a read on crowds by going in the gift shop to see if it's reflective of what's happening elsewhere around the park. And this is a place that has a tendency to get very, very crowded, very busy And actually, this feels busy-ish. Mostly guests looking at lightsabers, which have been on sale quite a bit of late. There are a few that you can get quite a discount on. I just heard Doc himself. Let's go check in on Doc. Let's recognize for a second, they put a top-tier animatronic, well, top-ish tier animatronic in a gift shop. And that's one of the advancements that Disney made. Probably not the right conversation for a State of Report, but I'm going to talk about it anyway. It's one of the advancements that Disney has made in terms of a land, an attraction, a space, a park is more than just rides, roller coasters. That they have elevated dining and shopping to show, and that's what Galaxy's Edge was really the pinnacle at its time of making buying stuff and eating stuff part of the experience, part of the show, which is one of the reasons why people felt, because they didn't quite get that. They didn't quite get that, Doc Ondar's and obviously Savi's Workshop also, Docking Bay 7 and some of the other places that you've seen since then, that, you're only getting the 2 attractions here, but the whole place is a show that's happening all around you. The whole thing is a ride. Galaxy's Edge is the attraction. While we're at it, let's stop inside the Droid Depot also. Ooh, I think we might be able to find... Hey, how are you? One of the Pixar Fest trucks in here. I've heard tell that there is a Pixar Fest truck hanging from up here. Should we look for it? Oh, I almost just missed it. There it is, right there. See it? The truck on the leg or whatever, the arm of that eventual droid. As part of Pixar Fest, Disney has hidden 50 of those trucks themed to whatever environment it's in. I know there's one in the Adventureland Treehouse, there's one in Incredicoaster, there's 50 of them all over the place between this park and the other. And actually, there's one in downtown Disney, at least one in downtown Disney as well. I'm not sure if anybody's found all 50. That's the first one I've ever put eyes on myself. But that's pretty cool. I kind of dig that. But otherwise, I can say that things feel pretty chill inside the Droid Depot. Not a lot of foot traffic in here, less than we saw over at Doc Ondar's. But there are people buying droids. That's actually more people than I've seen actually building them than I have seen in recent trips. Almost all the bays are full. You guys feel that? Are you picking up what I'm picking up right here? Before I say it, type in your comment. What do you see besides Chewbacca and Rey? It's dead. It's dead. Shocking, kind of. We saw 35 minutes for Smuggler's Run, and now, not only is it not 35 minutes, it's less. It's 20 minutes for Smuggler's Run?
Enjoy the day.
Hi.
Sentry to recon. We have eyes on the one you're following. No. Tell them. Right.
I am befuddled.
Unit to command.
That is the sensation that I am feeling at this moment as we make our way out of Galaxy's Edge. I am befuddled. Look at. Is this not befuddling? I mean, there's not supposed to be a whole lot going on right here, but there's supposed to be something.
Now it can even take off.
There's these guys.
Good.
Oh no, it's happening.
Let's go. Right there.
What?
Come here. Have you pledged your support to the First Order?
No.
That was a bold and unwise answer. That is affirmative. Voted? Present your identification.
I don't have any. I'm sorry.
That's an odd
It
response.
sure is.
Your identification.
Sorry.
I guess you won't be visiting the cantina then.
No,
Fine. Move along.
thanks.
Remember, we've got eyes everywhere. Here.
Look, there's
Now.
more. There's more of you. What is going
Pull
on?
in. That is affirmative.
Sorry, I'm over here. I'm over here. Sorry.
What?
Here.
So,
Now.
looks like
Hey, how are you? I often have no idea what to say to these guys when this happens.
Establish a checkpoint and clear the perimeter. Citizens, stand right there. Sentry unit to command.
I mean, don't get me wrong. That's awesome. I love Galaxy's Edge. I love that experience, Stormtroopers, but it still doesn't change the fact that I'm completely befuddled about what's happening here. I don't know how to process this because it's Season of the Force. Of all the times where we should have more than the usual amount of traffic here in Galaxy's Edge, it's now, right? We're coming up on May. We're coming up on May. That's going to be in just a few days. May Star Wars Day is like a week or in a few days away. Why? What could it be? Why was Rise 40 minutes? Smuggler's Run 20. The land is dead in there. Why? And I mean, all I could think of at this point, just this offhand conversation, is that I feel like Season of the Force, they did a poor job of hyping it. But even this is even slower than the usual day. I could have come in February and found more people hanging out at Galaxy's Edge, but I feel like Disney did a poor job with Season of the Force. And I've said that a few times, that it's a little underwhelming and a little meh. And people said, no, you haven't seen the whole thing yet. Well, okay. Where's the rest of it then? I mean, like I said, we're coming up on May now. It's been a thing for a minute. Where's the rest of it? How can you? I don't know, man. Hey, all right. I try to be as, transparent as possible. And frankly, I just don't understand how Season of the Force is not being a bigger deal right now, or unless it's not Disney. What if it's not Disney? What if it's you and me? What if people just aren't into Star Wars like they used to be? Oh my God, that's scary. That's terrifying. Let's find out. You know what? There's a new season. There's a new show coming on Disney Plus. It's Tales from the Empire. That looks really good, actually. I want to see what people say about that. Let's go to Fantasyland. Hi. Maybe it's not just Galaxy's Edge. I mean, it's continuing. The narrative has not changed. As we've made our way through the park, it's still happening. We are now in Fantasyland at 2:45. This is prime time. 2:45 is about the time when the two types of guests are mixing together. The rope drop guests and the park closing guests should all be coming together right now. Look at Can't get a ticket. Can't make a reservation. Can't get a ticket. I shouldn't be able to walk through here right now. Mystified. Pinocchio's. That's the whole queue right there. The guests are walking right by. That's pretty much 5 minutes. Snow White. That's maybe 20. Maybe. Peter Pan. You guys, we did this last week. This is my thumbnail from not last week, but 2 weeks ago. This is my thumbnail right here. It's the same thing. Look at Peter Pan. Look at it. It's posted at 30, and that's probably correct. Hi. I wonder though if this is just a Sunday thing. Because I've said before, somebody asked me just the other day. I don't know if it was in a chat or a comment or live stream or whatever, but they asked me what was the slowest day of the week. And I would have guessed maybe Sunday afternoons, just like right about now. What am I doing? What are we doing, guys? I want to know. Peter or Toad said, I didn't even look. But it said like 10 minutes when we checked the tip board. But I think we're just going to do this because why not? Having a lovely day, Fresh Baked. It's been a lovely day. But we have to keep going. We have to keep working on this State of Disneyland report. And we'll check in on Dumbo next. Now that is something, am I reading that right? It's so dark. Oh no, I'm reading that wrong. I thought it said 45. That's 15. Guys, that's the whole queue right there. What? Okay, we gotta go on the other side. Look at that. Now I want to get in this queue. I can't even see the back of the queue. There it is. That's incredible. What even is happening? They didn't even fill all the teacups. There's 1, 2, 3 empty teacups, green, orange, pink. And next, me and just 5 or 6 more people are gonna get on these teacups right now. Never in my life have I seen something like this at 3 o'clock or 2 something in the afternoon on a Sunday. I mean, that could be part of it right there. It's certainly a portion of it, but not all of it. Magic Happens is going off right now. That usually, pulls in some of the guests, takes them off or out of the streets and out of the queues. But, hi guys. But nothing like what I'm seeing today. Nothing like this. And rough. There was no music. I wasn't ready. She didn't tell us to enjoy our teacup ride or anything. There's no music. What is this? What is this? This day is getting more and more confusing as we go on. Hey, we'll check out Alice in Wonderland while we're on. I can't tell exactly how the crowd is, but it looks a little light. It looks like 30 minutes from here. I'm trying to see through the guests, trying to watch magic happen. Oh, it's less than 30. It's the back of the queue right there. There's hardly, am I gonna get on another ride right now? There's hardly anybody in that queue right now. That could be 10 or 15 minutes. Is it even, oh yeah, it's open. There are caterpillars up there. Look at, there's nobody in there. That's 10 minutes. Am I seriously? Like, how could I not, right? How could I not? This is like a once in a year opportunity. It shouldn't be this quiet today. It really shouldn't. I'm kind of confused. The crowd that I thought I saw was for Magic Happens. They were watching the parades go by, or the floats go by. This is it right here. We saw 30 on the tip board earlier. And now it shows 20, and that's the lightest 20 I think I've ever seen. What am I doing?
Wonderland began with all the party rabbits down the Gathercole.
How around?
Oh, Mr. Rabbit! Wait!
I'm not sure where I am.
Always the drop. So let the bait be split.
Let me up! With their head! Goodness! Entities I am lifted too.
Okay, so that accounted for some of it. Hi guys. Certainly it was the parade that accounted for. Look at that. In the 8 minutes, let's see, we're in the queue for 7 minutes, in the ride for 3. In 10 minutes, it's come out all the way here. So that's comforting, I guess. Teacups though is still just one rotation. I don't know if you can see that or not over there, but I mean, it's fuller obviously than it was. It's not walking straight through. But it's still not at all crowded there. Storybook Land, right here. This is nothing. I imagine what that would have looked like 10 minutes ago. So obviously, yeah, the parade is a factor, but still. Hey, all right. Well, watch what happens. We'll get. It'll be about 20 minutes since the parade was over when we get to Toontown, and we'll check in on Roger Rabbit and Runaway Railway there. We saw Runaway was at 35. No. Or was it 50? I think it was 50, and Roger Rabbit was 45 when we checked on it before. And Small World was 10.
Yeah.
Roger Rabbit is holding at 45 minutes. And as we look at the crowd out here, certainly not as busy as we typically see in this part of Toontown. This feels super light right here. Super, super light. Now, okay, Runaway is showing 60 minutes and the queue is at the door. The back of the queue is at the door, so that's about right, depending on Lightning Lane. But it's strange, you guys. It still is feeling really strange. Light. When's the last time I've been able to walk this freely through Toontown? I mean, it's gonna bottleneck right here at the Good Boy Grocers. As it should, because this, you know, it pinches right here. There's Goofy. But even still, that was kind of easy passing right through there just now. Super easy. I'm gonna guess 30 minutes for Minnie and 45 for Mickey still though. There you go, 30 minutes for Minnie's house. Oh, Mickey's just 30. Does the streak continue at Gadgets? So maybe Roger Rabbit and Runaway Railway were the outliers, and we are still seeing super duper low standby wait times. It's about how we found it 2 weeks ago. The back of the queue was right here, and that's pretty much where we're seeing it now. Right as you make that U-turn. 5 minutes. Well. Okay, so we'll get out of here. Go check in on Small World. What do you want to bet Small World's still 5 minutes? Or 10 minutes? It was 10 minutes, right? The debate I'm having in my mind is that on the one hand, I don't want to oversell what's happening, because obviously there are other factors that could contribute to this, not just nobody showing up. As we mentioned, the parade factor. But I don't want to undersell it either, because there's a parade every day. Every time we shoot these videos, there's a parade happening at some point during that shoot. Or at least it has been the case since Magic Happens came back. And we haven't seen anything like this before. Not to this degree. I mean, we've seen slow days, but slow days like this were like a year ago or more. Just like right after post-COVID or something. I can't figure out where I need to be on the thermometer of overselling and underselling. But whatever it is, it's a very interesting situation to observe and analyze. All right, Small World looks closed, I think. I'm not sure if we're going to be able to get anything worth observing here. Yeah, they got chains up. I mean, there's guests. This is wild. There are guests out there in the queue. It kind of had me confused there for a second because I wasn't sure what I was looking at. But definitely this thing is not operational, so we can't tell what the wait is or was. But I would get it was 10 minutes, and as we walked by on our way to Toontown, it was still open at that moment, and it didn't look at all busy. Still feels light, you guys. Still feels quiet. Post-parade. Kind of peaceful right here. And what of the Matterhorn? Well, there we go. Okay, good feeling's gone. The streak has ended. 65 minutes. And due in large part, almost entirely on this right here. This is very likely a post-parade collection of Lightning Lane. We see this happen all the time. The Lightning Lane guests, they'll see the parade and then they'll all jump in to the nearest attraction into the Lightning Lane. So this queue actually, if we were to come back and check in on the Matterhorn in a little bit, considering what the rest of the park is doing right now, I would imagine that time will come down. Once they process those Lightning Lane guests, it'll be a little bit back to normal. But that's like, oh wow. So for 65, that's a 65-minute queue? No, I don't think so, guys. Not even is that a 65-minute queue. No. That is a 65-minute queue. That is a monorail. It's not a brisk queue, but 65 minutes, even with Lightning Lane, would be out here somewhere, for sure. I'm just glad to see her back online, though. She's been going through it a little bit. Matterhorn recently went through a refurb period. Actually, we're still in the middle of it, where it would be closed during the week, Monday through Thursday, then open on the weekends, Friday through Sunday. 3 weeks it was doing that. Today, after Sunday, tomorrow, it'll close again, and then reopen on this coming Friday. But routine stuff, we talked about this in the construction report, but routine stuff, but I'm glad to see the Matterhorn hanging in there after so many decades of being one of the most important attractions in the theme park universe. Yeah, I feel like the Matterhorn was the outlier, and it's not even 65. Look at, I mean, here we are again, back to this. Now, Nemo obviously is a different animal than the Matterhorn, both in terms of its popularity, its demand, but also because it's not a Lightning Lane attraction, so you don't get any kind of influence as far as that goes. But we certainly have seen on many a trip report monorails going by and a full queue out here. So I'm guessing what we're seeing here is probably 15 or 20 minutes, depending on how many boats they're running. I had a lovely trip on the Autopia a few nights ago on our vlogging channel, Tours Departing Daily channel. It's the place where we do just random ride through, or rather, walk through the park. Not science, no queue science, no strategy or anything of that type, but just me in the park and the camera. There's a huge queue out here. For some reason, is it close? Yeah, oh, it's close. For some reason, there's a reason. They've got the chain up. The posted wait time is 5, and I can hear vehicles out there. I can hear them operating. I can see, what a trippy situation. I don't think I have ever seen this. Is everybody just chilling? There are cars out there on the track coming in, but none of these cars are moving. They're all parked. I hear no engines on. This is the closest that we'll ever get to knowing what it's like to have Autopia go electric. Right? I mean, you can hear it faintly in the background of the cars coming back in. Hey, oh, they're back up. Huzzah! There, okay, now the sound is back. That's wonderful. There's a report from the LA Times. There's been two, actually. The first one was sort of a general talking about it, and then a follow-up from the LA Times where the guy said, yes, Disney has confirmed they're gonna make Autopia electric by was it 26? I wanna say it was 2026, but that seems really soon. Imagine. Big test here at Hyperspace Mountain. But this right now, Tomorrowland, is more the same, just in general in terms of the crowds that we're seeing here. Certainly Tomorrowland should have more guests out milling about, right? Almost the entire land is a bottleneck, it seems. Posted is 50, and just a second ago as we turned around it said 55 and it just went down to 50. The call to action there being to stay away, it seems, because people have been staying away. thus the reduction of time from 55 to 50. We're gonna go find the back of the queue. See how things look at Lightning Lane as well. I absolutely love this walk. I think I've mentioned this recently in a video, this walk from below, you know, down to the ground level down there, and then up the various ramps, up into the, I think I did this in the last State of Report, up into the, you know, the standby section, the upper area here where the helipad is. It's one of the greatest experiences that you can have at Disneyland, in my opinion. So that, oh, there they are. Hey guys. It is pure Disney to me. So nothing happening, or not much happening at Lightning Lane. A couple guests streaming in there, but certainly no queue of substance. This might even be more shocking. Nobody's up here. I mean, there's people in that queue back there, I'm sure. In the interior queue, the extended queue up back there, but normally you see, you know, some kind of flow of guests happening here. Right? And so is the view down there. That's why I love coming up here to do these reports sometimes, just so I can get a view of Tomorrowland from up here. But first, let's just go check in on standby. Okay, so there you go. There's queue out there. It was posted 50. I can already see some queue here. Oh, they're using a lot of it. Yeah, okay. All right, that's comforting when it comes to trying to compare situations. That could very well be a 50-minute queue, but it won't be as long as the Lightning Lane keeps staying light like it is. But this will move, although it looks a little sticky at the moment. This is the first time I've ever seen this area uncovered as well. Not sure what this is for, what they're doing down there right now. But this. It's terrific, right? This makes my heart happy looking at this. Every time I come up here, I'm just happy and content and pleased with what they have made. And it is Tomorrowland as of today. Even with the Innovations building that is virtually unused, and you know, we don't have the Starcade anymore, the proper Starcade down below. We don't have the People Mover anymore. We don't have the Astro Orbiter up there anymore. In spite of all that, it's still wonderful. I still love Tomorrowland. And a large part of me even hopes that they don't do Tomorrowland 3.0, 4.0, I don't know. A large part of me hopes that they do nothing. I just, because I don't know how I feel about that. You know, it's not the best history, but it's still history.
It would be, but it got popular with a bunch of different sizes, so it doesn't really matter. Maybe like anyone who wants pizza.
Just love it here. The state of Tomorrowland is that I love it here. There certainly is a line for churros right now. That's good. Churros never go out of style, right? But never mind that. We need to check in on Buzz Lightyear, which it looks like the crowd is starting to develop. Posted wait time is 25 minutes. A little bit of, oh no, more than a little Lightning Lane. There's a whole queue out there stacking up. Let's check in on standby. I mean, it's all right. It's not light. It's a little more standard than we've been seeing throughout the park. And it'll probably be most of that 25. We did a queue like this recently. We were out here we did this stretch and the stretch in the back. It was posted at 35. Hey guys, all right. But it wound up being 50. Obviously that was because of Lightning Lane, which as long as that's the case, you're just gonna get you're gonna get a wide variety of possibilities as long as there are people getting into the Lightning Lane queue. And that Lightning Lane queue is growing and sticky. Star Tours across the way posted at 40. And yeah, that might, well, who knows? We can't see in there, but I get a sense that that does look full-ish at least. They're not running it out here, but the bulk of this exterior queue happens when they're filling up this room back here. 40, okay. So things are getting a little bit more normal here in Tomorrowland. But as we escape Tomorrowland into the hub in the top of Main Street, more delightful. This is nice. Not at all crazy, not at all intense. I can enjoy this for sure. My gosh, we can even make a left at the statue and not a right. Normally I have to go to the right because I just can't navigate this area in front of the statue because there's just so many people here trying to get a picture, photo pass, etc. But today we can casually drift by. You guys, these are the things that I'm talking about. You come to Disneyland enough and you find situations like that that are observable, that you may not notice on a casual visit, but having been through here so many times, you're able to, you have a library of experiences and memories to draw on in terms of what is or what isn't. I normally cannot make that left, okay? And that's telling. You gotta trust me on this, that's telling. I should not been able to pass in front of the partner statue the way I did with such ease and casually get a shot of Mickey and Walt in front of Sleeping Beauty Castle. I'm glad I did though. And there's 2 events going on right now. Two events. Season of the Force and Pixar Fest. Now this is something that I mentioned in our Pixar Fest video at the end of our video there. I said, you know, it is the case where these events do draw in more crowds, but then it helps to distribute them and doing other things. They're not all just getting in queues. Hey, all right. So that also is a contributing factor to why we might have found some light wait times. But I'm also seeing, you know, open space here in the normally trafficked areas. So, you know, that does have something to do with it, but still, there's 2 events going on, and we're still not feeling a super busy, intense day. And it's not like April, or the end of April or May, is one of those periods in the year where they're desperate to draw crowds. This is a fairly popular time of year to be in the park. Right? Springtime, it's delightful. The weather's perfect. Which brings us to the end of our session. Big Thunder posted 30. They are running the queue back here a little bit. It was 45 in the tip board, so this has actually gone down since we looked at the tip board, but this is a strong 30 if it's 30. It is not often the case where you get a 30-minute wait time and the queue is all the way out here. It could be 30 without that, which would have to mean that they're not selling a lot of Lightning Lane, question mark? Which is, no, there's nobody here right now. Hi. I don't see a lot. Unfortunately, we can't find it back at the Lightning Lane queue anymore, but we can at least see how fluid the lane is here. It's the lane on the left, standbys on the right. We can see standbys kind of posted a little bit. And there are definitely guests coming into the queue. Lightning Lane guests, that is. So that 30 is probably going to go up. That's my guess. That 30 is going up. You know, I asked at the top of this video, in the intro, is this real or not real? And if I had to choose, if I had to pick one, I think I would opt for real. That what we saw, for the most part, on balance, is how it is. That the long waits and the stickier parts of the park were the outliers, and the rest of it is where we're at today, which is, you know, again, befuddling because I can't buy a ticket today, or I couldn't make a reservation. How many times am I going to ask that question? It's just ongoing. It's becoming a bit of a meme at this point. But I mean, for those of you who like this, maybe that's what Disney wants, and that's where they want to be. It was a very pleasant day today. Very pleasant day. It was very enjoyable, and you would have had a good time here too, getting in. I went on rides today. You guys, I did 4. I did the Main Street, the fire truck. That's a ride. We did Toads, Teacups, and Alice in Wonderland. That was a good day. Hope you guys enjoyed. Thank you very much for watching. If you liked our show and want to show your support, please do consider joining our Patreon campaign at patreon.com/freshbaked. You can follow us also on Instagram at _freshbaked and on TikTok at freshbakedisney. Otherwise, thanks again for watching, everybody. We love you. Be safe out there. Be kind to one another. Fresh Baked.